Hello, and welcome once again to another live stream of SYWK podcast. And my name is Desmond, and for tonight live stream, it is going to be scarier because there are some new stories which I'm going to share. There are a couple of people who are going to join in, and they are also going to share their live stream. Or what am I saying? They're also going to share their ghost stories. So, to begin with, really sorry that I had to start the live stream a bit late because I had gone out in the evening and then I had dinner and then I had to set up a lot of things. And then finally, I'm here with my another horror live stream every Tuesday. So, welcome everyone. First of all, let me know if you guys can hear me. If my audio, video, everything is fine, you can just say something in the chat so I'll be sure because I don't have time now to check if my audio is fine, but I believe the audio is fine. So, moving forward, the link of the stream is there in the description. Okay, also, I'll be putting that in the chat. So, feel free to join in and feel free to share your ghost stories, your ghost experience. And before we begin with the live stream, what you need to do is if you're new to the channel, you need to like the stream, you need to share, and you need to subscribe to my channel so that whenever we are live or whenever there is an episode which is released on my channel, you will get a notification. Okay, so for now, the first story, what we are going to discuss or what we are going to narrate is from Larry. Okay, so I'll be getting Larry in 3, 2, 1. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so we have our first caller for tonight, and that is Larry. So, Larry, I'm getting you in 3, 2, and 1.
Yes. Can you hear me, Des?
Yes, Larry, I can hear you.
Great. So thank you so much for having me in this live podcast. And I'm really excited to share my story. And I'm
Yes,
very
please.
sure that the listeners also will be able to connect with my story and be able to uh, be a part of this podcast.
Yes, so what story do you have for us tonight?
So today, the story that I have for you is entitled Kaka Malavatswa.
Oh, wow.
And once you hear this phrase is a very famous, very old, and a very true phrase of
Hmm.
a real story that I would like to share. And this is a story coming from my present place of stay, which
Hmm.
is Pune, Maharashtra. So basically, the story is about a king and a very gruesome murder that took place, and how the spirit still haunts his kingdom or his fortress.
Hmm.
This is a glimpse of that story that I would like to share. But always keep in mind this sentence, "Kaka Mala Vatswa," and I will tell you the meaning at the end.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
in Pune, if you understand about Pune, it's a beautiful city with a lot of history, because it's a city that is built around the Maratha tribe. And one thing that comes to the mind in Pune as a fort, of course there are many forts, but one of the most famous fort which is available in the city is called the Shaniwar Wada,
Hmm.
and it's a huge fort. It is built very early in history, and it's a pride of Pune. In Shaniwar, Wada is also famous for a very important name, which all of us are very familiar with, and that is Bajirao Mastani.
Oh,
Of course,
yeah.
we watched the movie,
Hmm.
and we know the history of Bajirao Mastani as well. So basically, during the 1700s, this is way back in history, Shaniwar Wada was known for its garden. It was known for the color. It was known for the massiveness of the fort that was situated right across the river. But it was not just famous for the beauty of the fort. It was also famous for a lot of competition, a lot of jealousy, conspiracies, betrayal, and most importantly, there was a murder which took place in that. So, back in the year 1732, this Shaniwarwada fort was built by Peshwa Bajirao I, and it of course stayed in his control up to the year 1818, 1818, because as you know, back in the day there were a lot of wars taking place between two of the groups, between the empires, and always there was a claim over the fort. So of course the fort only lasted in control up to the year 1818, which was overall taken up by the British East India Company and also the Third Anglo-Marathi War. As you come to this, as I like to share to the history of the story. So when the fort was built by Peshwa Bajirao, he had three sons. The first son, his name was Vishwasrao, and he actually died during a battle in Panipat. And he was survived with two more sons. One was Madhar Rao, and the third one is Narayan Rao. So now Narayan Rao is something really important for us in the story to know after. So as you know, always in the king dynasty, the son after the king has to take over the throne, and whoever survives has to be the next heir to inherit the fort and inherit the power. So basically, once the eldest son, Vishwas Rao, who died during the battle, his younger son, Madhav Rao, he took over. But due to health reasons, in the year 1772, he also died. And eventually, the youngest son, who is Narayan Rao, he became the Peshwa, or he became the king of this fort, and he was only 17 years old. Such a young guy, 17 years old, of course, a lot of respect, but a lot of responsibility to be such a big position, handling a fort, handling a fortress, and keeping your father's name, that's Bajirao the first, his name up to the standards. So during this time, there was a lot of challenge that he was facing for his throne, although he was so young, and there were his family members themselves who were trying to get over the throne. One of his uncle, his name was Raghunath Rao. He was trying to fight for power for a long time, and since in the family itself he was not able to get that position that he wanted, so he was trying a lot to see if the family, the Bajirao family, is completely taken off. They completely murdered or killed, so that he can take the power. Now, the only person stopping that was Narayan Rao, who was this youngest son of Bajirao first. Although Narayan Rao was very young, so he was not sure of what exactly is the politics, on what exactly is the rivalry, or who is the person who is against his family. So each time there was such kind of a plotting, he used to go to his uncle himself and try to take refuge from him. And so his assassination attempts used to be failed. There was a day when Narayan Rao found out that his uncle was the reason behind the death of his elder brothers, and as soon as he found that, he, with respect, did not kill his uncle, but he put him in house arrest so that he could be safe. Now, as his uncle Raghunath Rao was in house arrest or in jail, Raghunath's wife, her name is Anandi Bai, she was very angry. She's like, "How can you do such a thing to my husband or your uncle?" And there was a festival in the year 1773. Of course, back then there was no formal means of communication. Like there was no proper way of communication. But yes, they did used to write letters to each other. Of course, in the house arrest, Narayan Rao, to kill Narayan Rao, there was one letter which was written by Raghunath Rao, and it was sent through the messenger soldiers to somebody named Sumir Singh Gardi. Now, Sumir Singh Gardi is one of the soldiers of the Gardi tribe, and he was given a letter from the house court or the house jail, And the letter was a very simple one-liner, which meant that hold Narayan Rao. Means don't do anything, just go and hold him. So if I translate it in Marathi, it's Narayan Sab La Dhara. Dhara means to hold. Okay. Now here's the twist. When that letter came from the house of, or the arrest house of Raghunath Rao, the letter actually fell in the hands of his wife. Okay. And as soon as the wife got the letter, Anandi Bai got that letter, she changed the letter Gh to M. So basically in Marathi, Dhara, Dha was changed to Mara, means Mara, which means kill. So the entire meaning of the sentence changed. It was a message, direct order to the Gardi that don't just hold him but kill him, kill Narayan Rao. And this message was straightforward, manipulated by the wife of Raghunath Rao against the king at that time, Narayan Rao. So basically, as this happened, obviously, as you know, once the order is passed to the soldiers don't think twice. They just go out and fulfill the orders for the king. So this miscommunication took place, and just because of that one letter, a big history was to unveil. Then one day, when Narayan Rao was out in his fort, he was taking his rounds. The Gardis came out, like the soldiers came out. They took out the swords and they started to attack Narayan Rao. Now, Narayan Rao being so young, he had no backup. He had nobody listening to him because there was an order to kill him in his own fort, in his own area. So basically, what he did is he thought that if he goes to his uncle, definitely his uncle might save him because his uncle was in the is in the house arrest. So as he was running through the courtyard, or as he was running through the premises of the fort, only one thing he was shouting, that is Kaka Mala Vatsva, Kaka Mala Vatsva, which literally means Uncle, please save me. Uncle, please save me. And as he kept running away from these guards, they were not stopping at all. He kept running till a point where he was cornered. And as soon as he was cornered, the Gardis soldiers, they took out their swords and they chopped him off. They chopped him in so many pieces that it's very difficult to say, I mean, whether he could really survive in that situation. As soon as they chopped him, they collected his parts and they went near the river and they threw his parts away, just so that he should not be recognized by anyone at all. Now, what's really interesting about this story is that although Narayan Rao had to face the death, but his cry or his voice is still heard till today in that fort. There are times in the night, or there are certain times where you can hear, there are certain people who still hear him screaming, Kaka Mala Vatsva, Kaka Mala Vatsva. And what's even more ironic is that he died in the year 1773. Okay. And just a year or two later, due to unforeseen circumstances, his murderer, Sumir Singh Gardi, also died because of mysterious circumstances. And the worst part is, now that Narayan Rao is no more, Bajirao one clan or the Bajirao one family is completely over. Raghunath Rao obviously took it over, and his son Bajirao the second, he became the king, the new king, since there was no more king. So his uncle's family took over, and surprisingly, I think you can fill the blanks. Surprisingly, Bajirao's son, Raghunath Rao's son, Bajirao the second, also died with unexplained circumstances. So basically, the whole of her family, they just vanished. And the best part, I mean, I would not say the best part, but the most important part in this entire story is the Shaniwar Wada, which was a beautiful garden. It was made with so much efforts in beautifying it. It caught fire in the year 1828, and everything got burnt. everything. There is nothing that's remaining except the walls and the stones. Everything else is burnt. So basically, till date, if you see, there are two things that are really striking. One is how a letter was just a letter was changed of Dhara to Mara, just that one letter, and it changed everything. But what's more important to understand is even after the person who's screaming for his life, even after death, you can still hear his cries and still hear him screaming, which is the highlight of this fort, which is in Pune, Shaniwar Wada, and you can still hear when you go there, Kaka Malavatswa.
Oh my god. That was one of the creepiest story I've ever heard. And for sure, whoever wrote that letter, it was a typo. So because of that, the whole scenario changed, but quite creepy. Yeah. So next, when we are in Pune, I think so, Larry, you should take us to this place. How
Yes.
far is it? It is in the main city itself,
It
right?
is exactly in the heart of the city, and
Okay.
it's a huge fort. It's a beautiful place to go, but all that you see is just the walls and just
Hmm.
the courtyard. But had it been preserved till date, if there was no fire or if there was no such incident, it would have been a beautiful fort to go to.
Hmm. Makes sense. It is quite creepy. Yeah, really, really scary. So, thank you, Larry,
Yes,
for joining in and sharing an amazing story. We shall wait for someone else. I think so, Divyani Mahapure. If you know her, I don't know if you know her, but Divyani Mahapure is also interested to join in. So let's try to get her in and see if she would like to share any story. But thank you so much for joining in and sharing your story.
thank you,
I
Desmond.
shall see you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye. So, yes, that was Larry's story. It was quite interesting and he really explained very well with detail, with everything in detail. So, I really like that story. So, Divyani, feel free to join in and share with us anything if you have some more information or any further stories. Now, I will be getting Swati Rao. So basically, she will be my co host, and anyone else also can join in. So we both are going to be there live on the stream where we'll be discussing a lot of things. But the link is open. Anyone can join in. Divyani, anyone, whoever is available, they can join in and they can, share their stories. So, Swati, I'm getting you in three, two, and one.
Hi everybody. Hi Desmond.
Hi, Swati. How are you?
Alive for now.
Same here, same here. Sorry for last week because last Tuesday there was something, and then I was supposed to do it, but then I could not do it. Then on Wednesday I did it, and Wednesday also, just 10 minutes before I decided. Tonight also, I had gone out and then I got late, so then I thought, chalo, let's do it anyways. It's Tuesday, so here we are doing the live stream.
Okay, good to know because every week I look forward to the Tuesday horror live. What are we
Yes.
discussing this week?
Yes, finally, finally. So everyone, Swati Rao is also another podcaster. She recently started her own podcast where she narrates and discuss about some horror places and different kind of stuff. So you can check her podcast link as well. I'll be putting that in the description of this video. And Swati, what is your plan for tonight's live stream? Do you have any stories which you would like to share, or what would you like to do?
So today I actually have something interesting, but I was hoping more people join the feed so we could share this with them. So should
Yes,
we wait for more people to join or we start right away?
we can wait for a while before you start. Basically, 1 minute. So not in my last live stream, but before that. So basically, Sunny Sachit also is regular on my live stream. So what we had decided that towards the end of the live stream, the people who are watching, either they can give a topic or we can pick a topic. And how it works is, like, for example, when me and Sachit did, we picked a place. The place was railway station. Then each of the guest or each of whoever is there on the live stream, they can get 30 seconds. Now, for example, you and me are there right now, so I'll
Mm-hmm.
get 30 seconds, and I will kind of make a story related to railway station. And after 30 seconds, I'll pass it on to you, so you have to carry forward the story. Again, after 30 seconds, you have to pass it on to me, and that's how we are going to build a story live. So that we'll do towards the end of the live stream. We'll see if there is time, then we can do that, because it's quite exciting, because it's basically like an open mic where we just instantly, come up with a story. Obviously it's a made up story, so but it's fun for people to listen to, and we can test our creativity level as well, and we can see how creative we can be in terms of creating a horror story on the spot. So towards the end of the live stream, we'll do that. So now, you can, start your story, and you can tell us what is the story about.
Okay, so before I begin, I have to ask you some questions connected to our topic. Then I can,
Yes.
ease into it.
Hmm.
So, Desmond, have you ever gone art shopping? Like, like melas, crafts, art stores. I mean, I'm sure you know art
Yeah.
things. Like, have you ever gone shopping to buy art?
Not really, not in particular. But
Okay,
yeah,
but
I have visited the places, but I've not purchased anything.
okay, and you're from Goa, so lots of carnivals happen.
Yes.
So they will have stalls for art
Hmm.
and crafts. But have you ever
Yes.
bought anything?
Nay. Like you mean like an antiques stuff or something like that you're talking about?
Anything artsy. So it could be like a jewelry box or a painting or, pottery, anything that is art, connected to art.
Not, not really.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're not a fan then. You're not a particular
No,
collector.
not in particular. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So today's topic is actually connected to haunted objects.
Hmm.
And this
Okay.
is connected to art. So by haunted objects, it could mean it's not a chair or a table. I'm talking about
Hmm.
things connected to art which have been created by somebody,
Okay.
like
Quite it.
paintings, pottery, jewelry, something that has
Hmm.
been made by somebody, and it has a supernatural force attached to it.
Hmm. Interesting.
That
Okay.
is why I clarified. Have you ever bought anything? Did you have, not an experience, but if you've bought something in the past, you would
Hmm.
think about it as, oh, I did buy these things.
Hmm. No, no, nothing which I can remember as of now. But yeah, in general, no.
Okay, okay. So to give you more insights in this particular topic,
Hmm.
it has been said that when you buy art, especially antiques, maybe new art, not really, but antique, something that is which you will get in antique stores, and of course outside India, you know that you have thrift shops and those
Hmm.
kind of stores where you can buy things secondhand.
Hmm.
And another thing which is popular outside India is estate sales.
Hmm.
Yeah, where rich people who want to get rid of their fancy things will put it out there. Yeah,
Hmm.
so basically things that are antique in nature or artsy in nature sometimes carry a supernatural force depending on who owned that object.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So why I came up with this topic was because of a personal experience. Thankfully,
Hmm.
not I am not that person who went through it, but it was
Hmm.
somebody in my family, which is why
Hmm.
it triggered me to think about it. And then every time I would start shopping or going to places and all of that, I would think twice when I bought something. So I thought, okay, this is something I should ask our community today.
Hmm.
And coming to the art part, I am a big fan. I've always been that way. I go
Hmm.
to carnivals, I go to art fairs, and now because I live outside India, I go to a lot of. I don't go to estate sales because that concept is not here in Europe. But
Hmm.
I mean, maybe it's there, but I have not visited anything personally. But thrift shows and antique stores are very common here. So I
Okay.
personally go and visit all these places and I buy things. But after I, got to know this experience from my close family member, now I've started second guessing things where I'm like,
Hmm.
do I really need this? Maybe I'll order on Amazon.
Yeah, safer side.
Yeah. So what do you want me to get into the story or should we wait for a little while?
You can get it into the story. It's okay. No
Okay.
problem.
Also, I'm unable to see the current chats of people. Is anybody messaging? Because I'm unable to see it.
Not really. I can see it. If there is anything, then I'll able to read it.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, coming to the story for today, so I have an aunt, and my aunt is not superstitious or anything. She's just normal, not religious, superstitious, any of that. And she basically wanted to buy a diamond for a very long time, but of course it's expensive and a lot of other reasons she didn't end up buying it for a very long time in her life. And obviously I know that there are affordable diamonds also, like small ones, but the piece that she had in mind was like very large diamond earrings basically,
Hmm.
and those are quite expensive. They run into a couple of lakhs. I would say a pair of big diamond earrings is
Hmm.
going to cost you anywhere between 5 to 10 lakhs.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is expensive for a middle
Hmm.
class Indian family. And she kept waiting. She kept waiting. She waited for a while for that moment to come. And after a couple of years of marriage, her husband was in a good position and everything, so she was able to save up to buy this pair. Finally she decided, okay, I want this particular design, and blah blah. And then what happened, she consulted with my family in the sense her my grandparents or whoever, that hey, I have the money now, and I want to buy it. What do you guys think?
Hmm.
So my grandparents were like, is it I mean, it's really up to you, you can buy it, but you shouldn't just blindly buy something. You have to consult a few people, like there's something called a gemologist, where
Hmm.
you give them your date of birth and name and all that, and they check if this gemstone suits you.
Hmm.
So my aunt thought it was bullshit at that time, because she was like, I don't believe in all this gemologist stuff. I want to just get it based on my preference. So they were like, okay, it's up to you. We're just telling you, it's just a suggestion from our side. And then so there's something which I mean, it's going to give some context to the audience. There's something called gem shows. So gem shows are very popular in the US. So
Okay.
what happens with gem shows is people all over the world, sellers from all over the world, India, Africa, wherever, they come to gem shows in the US and they sell their stuff.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I think this could be there in the Middle East also, because I mean, gem
Hmm.
shows are quite popular generally outside India. But I've heard about it from the US. But I'm sure it's there in Dubai as well, these gem shows. So,
Hmm.
so she was in US at that time. Her husband was working there. So she went for a gem show. And she used to tell us about these gem shows, because a lot of sellers were actually from India, from Rajasthan. They used to bring these diamonds and polki, and from South rubies and all this. And a lot of people were also from Sri Lanka for sapphires, like all over Asia. And Thailand, of course, is very famous for all this. So a lot of
Hmm.
sellers from there. So she used to go for all these gem shows, and she would keep an eye on, okay, what to buy. Like someday when I have the money, I'll buy it.
Hmm.
Because she had the money, she went for a gem show with the intention to buy. And then she found this really beautiful pair of diamond earrings with the kind of design she wanted and everything. And the seller was from India only.
Hmm.
And then she thought, okay, this is the right moment for me to buy it. And she actually called my grandparents and she told them, hey, there's the seller from India, and I found this pair at a gem show and it's a little expensive, but I have the money, I want to buy it. So my grandparents again told her, hey, I really think you should go to a gemologist before purchasing this, because you cannot return it. Once you buy it at a gem show, you can't go back to a gem show and give it back, because the
Hmm.
gem show is going to be there only for a week and then they leave that place.
Okay.
And similar to how you have um, flea markets, Flea markets are like people come from everywhere. They'll set up a stall for a while and then they leave.
Hmm.
Except gem shows are not regular flea markets. They're way more fancy because you're selling really expensive things.
Hmm.
Yeah. So they were like, you can't return the thing because these guys are going to leave in a week. And yeah, I'm not sure. So she was like, no, I've been buying from this gem show for many years. So I don't think there should be any problem. But buying in the sense, she used to buy small things, which she could afford, small stones. I don't think there should be a problem. So they said, okay, fine. If you're happy, go ahead. So she bought these diamond earrings from this gem show. Then she came to India to visit us, I think a few months later. She
Hmm.
was wearing it. It was really beautiful, no doubt over there. And it looked really sparkly and you know how a typical expensive looking diamond earring can look. And she was very happy with it. And I was also happy for her because she, saved up for that. So everything was going fine. And then what happened? She came to India, and her trip was actually for 1 month. She came for 4 weeks, and she was wearing it in the first 1 week, and then immediately after a week, a lot
Hmm.
of strange things started happening. So first, somebody in the family, our extended family, fell sick, like very sick, in the sense that so sick that they had to be admitted in the hospital. And
Oh.
then after they fell really sick, a lot of other weird things started happening in the rest of the weeks. Since she was there for only 4 weeks, first it
Hmm.
was like one person fell sick, and then her husband had some injury. And then after that, it was again, she started having health problems. There were lots of weird things going on, but nobody connected it to the earring because that would be strange. Like things happening in your life, you wouldn't be like, okay, what do I
Hmm.
connect it to? My earrings.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, what is going on? Like ever since she's come, only weird things are happening. So this went on for a while where they were thinking about, okay, what is happening? Why is this person sick? Why my health is not okay? And this and that. And she was going to leave in like a few days. The 4 weeks was almost up. And then my grandparents brought it up. So they were like, hey, you know what? It really could be because you bought these diamond earrings. And as soon as you bought it, within like a month, you came here and only bad things
Hmm.
have been happening. Why don't you just check it with the gemologist?
Hmm.
So again, she didn't want to go to the gemologist because she was not superstitious. But because so much bad stuff had happened, she thought, okay, maybe I should just go and check this out. So she went to the gemologist, and it was somebody who's quite famous in this line of work.
Hmm.
And then she goes to this guy. So he asks her all the details, like, okay, where did you buy this? Who was the seller? Is this second hand, or is this like a first piece, or what is it? He gets all the details.
Hmm.
So she told him that this is actually a second-hand item. Like the people who sold it at the gem show, they bought it from somebody else and they, sold it to me, which is why it was cheaper than an original piece. It was a
Hmm.
second-hand item, and she doesn't know anything about, where the stones are from, who used to own it. I mean, it's unnecessary. Nobody would give you all those details. And she gave him the price and blah blah. And then he took her birth date details and etc etc. And then he checked, they have a way to check, does this gemstone suit you or not suit you, or what is it. It's like similar to astrology, how you have, it's a science basically.
Hmm.
And then he checked that, and what he told her was that this gemstone doesn't go with you because of a number of reasons. So she thought, okay, maybe it's some birth date, or those typical rubbish answers they'll give you. Okay, you were born in July, so you shouldn't wear the stone, or something which is not making any sense.
Yeah.
What he said made a lot of sense because he said it has nothing to do with your birth date. You are normal, you can wear whatever you want.
Hmm.
He told her that there's something wrong with this pair of earrings. It has nothing to do with your birth date or with you or anything. You seem fine. I checked your, what do you call, kundali, as you would say it in
Hmm.
Hindi. You seem fine, but this pair of earrings is not fine.
Hmm.
So he basically checked it under a. So gemologists have a kind of a microscope which they look at gems.
Hmm.
So he looked at that, and he said that it was a very good cut, clarity, all of that. But he was very suspicious because she told him the story of how, immediately someone in our family fell sick, her health took a toll, other bad things were happening. And then he decided, okay, this is not normal, this is unusual. So he started looking at it in a different way. He checked it under the microscope, everything was looking fine with it. So he consulted other people. He
Hmm.
asked other people, hey, what do you think, this, that. And then he found out a lot of stories connected to these kind of stones. So apparently
Oh.
there are people, let's say they've had a piece of jewelry or in their possession which they really loved, whether it was a
Hmm.
necklace or a earring or bracelet or whatever. And either they could have had an unnatural death or they could have had a natural death. It's not necessary they should have an unnatural death, but
Hmm.
many instances, if they've had an unnatural death, they look for objects that possess their soul because they had an
Oh.
unnatural death, and if they were very close to something in their life, and it's unlikely an object they'll go and they could be close to a chair or table. That is unusual. It
Hmm.
will most likely for women be jewelry.
Oh, yeah, correct. Yeah.
So he told her that many times it could be that an object, an item of jewelry, or a painting, or a jewelry box could carry bad memories or a supernatural attachment of this person who has passed.
Hmm.
And this could be an unnatural death or even natural, but if this person was very close to something and chose to stay back on this realm, so they could attach themselves to an object.
Oh.
So she thought that explanation was a bit too extreme because she was
Hmm.
like, that makes no sense. Are you saying the person who used to own these diamond earrings, some part of their energy is attached to this?
Hmm.
And that is why bad things are happening in her life.
It is possible, I feel.
Yeah. And then he advised her that you can do whatever it is that you feel is right, but from my side, I don't think you should wear these earrings anymore. You should return them, but of course there was no way to return them, so give it to a jeweler and ask him money for this instead. Like, let him give you money for this, let him buy it at whatever price, give you money for this, and they will separate the stones on their own and like put it into other pieces, so that way all the stones are not together.
Hmm. But it will be still kind of possessed, or it will not.
So his explanation was that if they are together, the energy is much stronger
Hmm.
and bad things can happen. But if they are separated, it's unlikely that it'll have that kind of power.
But the energy will still be there.
That is true. Yes, the energy will still be there, but very little power.
Hmm.
So
Quite
she
interesting.
was like, "No, this is not possible. I don't want to get rid of them. So I want to keep it and see if this was just a coincidence." And then what happened? She brought it back, and then she continued, wearing them.
Hmm.
And she went back to the US because her 4 weeks were up. And then within 2 weeks, so she left. She came for that 1 month, and then she left. Within 2 weeks, the family member who was sick actually passed away.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so the family member passed away, and her health kept getting worse. Like, her health was not improving at all. And then she went and she got a lot of tests done in the US, body scan, blood report, everything. She got everything done. And there
Hmm.
was nothing as such. Like, the doctors were like, there is nothing wrong with you. None of the reports are showing up any problems. But her health was still bad. And then they couldn't figure out, like, what is the problem. And plus, this family member had also passed, which was affecting everybody because that was a very unlikely death. The person was
Hmm.
quite young, in the sense he was only in his 50s, and suddenly he's in the hospital, and 2 weeks later he's dead.
Shit.
And then my aunt's health, this was happening. And finally, my grandparents told her that I think it's best if you get rid of the earrings, give it away to a jeweler who's willing to take them, and just see if there's any change. If there's no change, then you're sure that okay, this was just a rubbish story and you can buy the pair again. But if there is a change, then this is true that you're harming your family intentionally.
Hmm.
So she decided, okay, let's give it a shot. And she actually returned the earring. So she went to a local jeweler in the US and she gave it away and took the money for it. And immediately, like, she returned the earring, within 2 days, she became normal again.
Oh.
She had a lot of health problems, which she went for tests and everything. And within 2 days, she started feeling better again. Her body energy was back. Everything was fine with her. And even
Hmm.
her husband had an injury at that time, which I mentioned. Even he started getting better.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So then, my grandparents told us, see, we told you that there's a change in your life because of this. So after that, she became a superstitious person. Not religious, but she became very superstitious because she started worrying that, okay, objects carry certain energies and these energies can affect you. So she became really careful about, okay, where do I buy things from?
Hmm. Quite interesting, man. So now is she fine?
Now she's fine because she never bought secondhand jewelry again. She only goes to the store and buys things. And after, I used to be a big fan of antiques and jewelry and all of that, and I have no issues like buying it from thrift stores or going to carnivals, melas, etc. But after she told me, I became a little conscious, like, okay, maybe I should also think about where I buy things from. So now what I do is I still buy, there is no change there. So what I do is I actually do a ritual kind of thing. So I have sage, like
Hmm.
sage, leaf sage, and I have an agarbatti and everything. And I
Hmm.
have some crystals also, like amethyst and jade and everything. So I
Hmm.
light up the agarbatti and the sage, and I kind
Hmm.
of cleanse the item that I brought into the house.
Wow.
Yeah, whatever is secondhand, I cleanse it. And then I also sometimes wash it if it's an item that can be washed. So I
Hmm.
wash it with salt water and then I let it go.
Oh my god. But I have a simple solution. Whatever antique you're buying, just
Hmm.
buy half of it. No, so there is only half energy.
How can I buy half a painting?
I think you never know. That will be more like artistic. Half a painting, like when you put it on the wall, like wow, so nice.
Yeah. And that'll also look like a piece of art, half a painting.
Yeah. Anyways, there is someone called as Muskan. She's saying, so you're saying antiques can be possessed by spirits because of their attachment towards the certain jewelry. So that's the question to you.
I think the main takeaway is that certain objects can attract certain energies. That is
Hmm.
the takeaway. For example, it's not that every item can attract certain energies, like every painting or every pottery piece or jewelry. It
Hmm.
probably depends on who owned it. Like, for
Hmm.
example, if this person who owned the diamond earrings,
Hmm.
maybe they were so attached to it and they had a death which was not normal, and
Hmm.
part of their energy was absorbed by this stone, this gemstone, and that carried on to everybody who owned it.
Yeah, it makes sense because even in the movie Annabelle, it is similar to that where there was a female where she was murdered, and then I think so eventually the ghost settled in that doll.
Correct, correct. It's the same
That is
object concept.
yeah. Also, I kind of believe in this because, like, I'll give you an example now. I also feel it's not objects, but it's also houses. Like, for example, now there is a family who's staying, okay, in a house in Goa.
In your house, you mean?
No, no, I'm just giving an example.
Mhm.
Not in my house. My house is fine. Just my mom will not get sleep. So there's a family staying, blah blah blah. So eventually, towards the end of the story, there's only one person alive, and that's the father. Okay, rest of the family is dead, and blah blah blah. He's alone now. Now he loves staying in that house, and he loves this house because his childhood was there. He grew up. He seen his kids growing up, blah blah blah, and he's staying alone now in that house. And then
Mhm.
now suddenly he dies. Now his soul is so attached to that house that he is there. His soul is there in the house. Now, cut to after many years, someone else purchased that house, and then they try to make changes. You know, they will break the washroom and they'll try to
Mhm.
renovate and XYZ that and all. So the ghost or the spirit is attached so much to the house that if someone tries to do changes also in the houses, it might, you know, kind of disturb them, and then they'll start haunting, and they'll start disturbing the people who are staying in the house. This is also a kind of story which I heard, that it's not always the object, but
Mhm.
it can be a house also. But yeah, mostly objects are more scarier. And like for example, now this is my setup, and this is my microphone, this is my camera. Tomorrow if I die, I might haunt this microphone, you never know. So remember, if anyone is watching this and if they purchase this microphone, I'll come with you wherever you take this microphone.
And just to add to this, there's
Hmm.
actually a show that our viewers or listeners can watch. It's called, or you can also, if you haven't heard of this show,
Hmm.
it's actually called Mayfair Witches. It's written by a person called Anne Rice. Then Anne Rice sold the rights to Hulu, I think, and Hulu
Hmm.
made this show called Mayfair Witches. So if you watch,
Okay.
it's actually quite a nice. It's nice. It's a nice show. So
Hmm.
in Mayfair Witches, there is a very prominent entity.
Hmm.
He is evil, but depends on how you look at it. For the witches, he's not evil, but to other people, he's evil.
Hmm.
So this entity, this powerful entity, he can actually help the witches only if they wear a necklace. So there is a certain necklace which is there throughout the show. It's like a green color pendant necklace, and it has been passed on from generation to generation in that witches family, the Mayfair witches family. And only when you wear that necklace, the entity appears and helps the witches. And when the necklace is removed, he does not appear.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So
Interesting.
that same concept.
Yes, interesting. Now let's go to the chat. Now Divyani is saying gems may cause health issues, not demonic. For example, silver does not suit for many people. Their skin starts to develop rashes, just like that could be a stone or gem. See, Divyani, Swati is saying that not every antique or every object is haunted, but if, for example, if you like an object and if you die before your time, an unnatural death, there are chances that your soul can even go inside the object, like your soul can go inside a body like a different person, or maybe an object as well. So that is what she meant. I hope I said the correct thing what you were trying to explain. Yeah,
Exactly.
Swati.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just that it depends on what you liked in that lifetime. Like for example, if your what do you call? Like if I have to take myself as an example, I
Hmm.
personally love jewelry and paintings and all of that a lot. It has always
Hmm.
been my personal preference. So let's say that I die an unnatural death, but I don't want to leave this realm. I was not taken peacefully. I would want, if I'm saying hypothetically, if
Hmm.
if my energy gets into something, or
Hmm.
soul or whatever, I would make it a piece of jewelry which I really loved, whether it's
Hmm.
like my wedding ring, or maybe it's my jewelry box, that kind of thing. But let's say for other people, they may not be really into that. Like what
Hmm.
you spoke about, the house in Goa, for them, their house was the most valued and cherished thing of their life, so their soul
Correct.
is
Yeah.
back in that place.
Yeah. So whoever is listening, it's not that everything is haunted, or it's not that you can't buy things, but it's better because you never know. Buri nazar bhi lagta hai. So that's also a thing. Muskan is saying yes, Divyani, that's true. Works both way. For gold as well, but gems are also believed to be used for beliefs like for nazar, good luck, and good fortune. Yeah, that's what I said. So yeah, not everything is haunted. So relax, people. On the chat, people are getting too offended. So what else, Swazi? Can you read the chats?
I can, yes, yes. I feel
Yes.
like so Devyani is against this whole concept because she wants the gems and gemstones to work for positive things, which is true. That is very true. Even I
Hmm.
have a lot of crystals, and she's mentioned that she has rose quartz, lapis lazuli, amethyst, jade. I actually, even I have all of those, which is
Hmm.
why I do a cleansing ritual whenever I bring something in. I use all
Hmm.
of these stones, and I light up sage, and I also wash it in salt water. So that part is
Hmm.
very true, that all of this is there. And even jewelry that I own, like I have a sapphire pendant which I wear,
Hmm.
and a ruby earring as well. So all of that is for positive. That is 100% true. But that said, these are just like rare cases where energies get attached to objects.
Hmm. Yeah. But do you actually like believe in such kind of stones? Because see, I've never used them, and I just want to know your point of view in terms of, does it really help, or it's just the mindset?
Mm,
Because if I go to some people's house, the what is that called, which I don't even know now, in Muskan's
evil eye.
yeah, evil eye, yeah. So does that really work? And
So
what's
the
the
thing
concept behind
is,
that?
if you take a look at couple of the popular stories, like Annabelle, for example,
Hmm.
um, Annabelle's story is actually a story similar to what I've spoken about. There's a history attached to that object. It's a doll, essentially. A doll is an object, and there's a history to that doll, which no
Hmm.
one knew, right? As the doll kept passing on from family to family, nobody knew what was this doll's history, who
Hmm.
owned this doll, and what even happened to this doll. Then later, as every movie came, they started revealing, right, what happened in the past and everything. And then essentially it was just a regular doll, but the people who owned it, basically bad shit happened to them, and then this doll gets possessed, and this energy that is sitting in the doll is as it's passing on from family to family, is affecting that family in different ways. Of
Hmm.
course, there are super dramatic things which cannot be, true, like the
Hmm.
extra stuff which they did in the movies, which is just a movie. But if you read the real life incidents of people who, had the was were in possession of Annabelle, or
Hmm.
dolls which are similar to Annabelle, which is there all over the internet, what they've spoken about is just about energies, that ever since that particular doll came into their life, nothing dramatic happened like in the movie, but small things started happening: falling sick, somebody getting hurt,
Oh.
their career, very small things which you may not connect with the doll. You will just be like, okay, this is a bad time in my life. But with time, they started realizing that maybe it is connected to this doll, because ever since this doll came, it's happening. And then once they passed on that doll to the next family, because they didn't want
Hmm.
to be associated with it, their life became normal again. So
It
it's more
makes
like, that
sense.
energy which is causing it.
Makes sense. Yeah, the negative energy. Like, see now, for example, the story what you told about your aunt. Okay, now we know that it was the earrings. Or for Annabelle, we know that it was the doll. But for example, now in my house, there might be something which might be having a very negative energy, maybe an object. So, how a normal person will get to know, like, and how to identify that? Do we know about that? Is it possible? Or
So
can
what
we
I've
find out?
read in a lot of these cases, and including my aunt's case, is that
Hmm.
when small things happen here and there, you will not notice it. It's only when continuously bad things are happening, your mind will start going backward. You will backtrack as to what have I been doing differently lately. And then when you circle around, you realize you didn't do anything different. You're just living your life the same. You didn't make any drastic changes. And then
Hmm.
you're like, huh, this is the last thing I did, which is I bought a earring, or I bought a jewelry box, or I bought this doll. And then
Hmm.
you start feeling like, okay, maybe it's connected.
Hmm. Oh,
So you
yeah.
probably identify only when a lot of things start going wrong, and then you want to backtrack and see what is the source of all of this.
Makes sense. Also, a very interesting fact which I recently got to know. So, I was having a conversation with a priest, and I was just, like we were just checking with him, like in the movies, how they show the possession and XYZ. So, we checked with him and we tried to find out, does this really happen in reality? So what he said was that most of the stuff what they show in movies are made up, and
Hmm.
obviously we know that. And sometimes you are possessed, but you'll not even know. In fact, like what they show in the movies, you'll get possessed, and then your voice will change and you'll act mad or this that and all. Sometimes a person is normal, and that person also does not know that it's being possessed, and similar to what you said, bad things will start happening. So
Hmm.
that is quite interesting to know from a priest, and yeah, that is something interesting.
And this priest has experienced a lot of this, is it?
I did not have a complete conversation with him. It was just a small conversation about that particular thing. I was having another conversation, and I just, thought of, talking about the paranormal and the ghosts and possession and this, that, and also he just gave me a gist about that. Hopefully, I'll try to speak to him again and try to find out some more information. But then, since he is, a priest, I believe he's not allowed to share a lot of information as well. But
Mhm.
let's let's try my luck. Let's see how it goes.
There are some comments for you.
Yeah, 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 I am reading it, but yes.
One Pune story from your end tonight.
Who's saying? Why I can't read the story? Oh, okay. It's not coming on my. Okay, I can read it on my phone. Hey, Priyanka is there, but before that, Divyani is saying can relate to an episode of Fear Files. The lady loved her jewelry and wanted it in her grave even after she passed away, and kept it protected even after death in Faridabad. Oh, I don't watch a lot of Fear File episodes, but something interesting. But yeah, there are, back in the day there used to be a lot of these maharajas, and when they die you have to put their crown and this and that, and also you never know, that also might be haunted, or that also might be cursed, or
Yeah.
some negative energy might be there. Priyanka Salve, hey Desmond, hey Priyanka, it's been long. You have not come and joined the live stream. Divyani saying one Pune story from your end tonight. Yes. Many people say possessed. Many people say possessed for multiple personality disorder. Okay, yeah. There are so many things which is unexplained. Priyanka, if you're still there online, please do join the live stream. It's been very long. At least come and say hi, and then you can go. By the way, Swati, Priyanka is the first guest, or was the first guest for my episode when I started my podcast. So she was there on my first episode, and then she keeps coming. But she's apparently very busy because she does not have time to come. I'm just giving her a taunt. Let's see if it
Hi,
works.
Priyanka. Please join and contribute to the possessed object stories that are
Yes.
happening today.
Yes, but it's quite interesting to, write a proper story as well, which can be converted into a book and then a movie. It's quite interesting.
And by the way, Devyani, Fear Files is this a Indian show or is this the Fear Files US? Which one is this?
I guess it will be the Indian one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Fear Files Indian shows are there.
Ha, the on ZTV, I guess. It's been there for a while.
Oh, I've watched the Fear Files US version because they have a US version of this Fear Files concept. I didn't know the
Mm,
Indian one was there.
Indian one, the famous paranormal investigator who passed away.
Ah,
I
that I know.
can't.
That I know. He had a very mysterious death as well, no?
Yeah, Gaurav, I believe he
Mhm.
himself was the like, his idea it was to start in India, and whatever cases he had solved, that were the initial stories. He had
Ah,
also gone to Australia, and then he started the same Fear Files concept there as well. Gaurav Tiwari, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry if I'm taking the wrong name. Let me research and see. Mm, yes, yes, yes. It's him only. It's Gaurav Tiwari.
it was a very strange death. I read about
Hmm.
it and I was like, wow, what he did in life, it
Hmm.
happened to him in death if you think about it.
Yeah. As per the postmortem report, it was an heart attack, but his wife had given a statement saying that during that time, during his last days, he was kind of fighting with a dark demonic entity which was not leaving him.
Mm-hmm.
and they said that his heart just stopped immediately. That was the reason behind his heart attack.
And also
If,
the position on the how she found him as well. The way
yeah,
his body was, it doesn't seem like somebody who had a heart attack.
yes, 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 yes. Also, there is a book recently which is written on him. Uh, I think so. It's Gaurav Tiwari only, and then I want to purchase that book. Let's see when I go next to India.
They ship to Middle East, no?
Yeah, they do. But, anyways, so I have a story. I will tell you the story. It's a very short story. So, normally, what I do is I'm hungry for stories. So, there is one website, and that website name is yourgostories.com. So, how we are doing this live where video, audio, everything is there, that's a website. Okay. And it's a free website where anyone can go and submit their true stories. So I pick up some stories which are interesting. So in office, when I am kind of free, I just go to the website and I read some stories. If I find it interesting, then I share it with everyone. So the title is The Unfortunate Woman. Okay, so when I narrate it in such a way that I break it into three parts. So the first part of the story is the character introduction. So basically, there are only two characters for now. Later on, when the story goes ahead, I will introduce the other characters. But for now, there is a mother and a daughter. And now, this is a story basically based somewhere in the village. Now, I am on the website, I am kind of going through the story, but it is not, there is no information about which village, but this is somewhere in India. Okay, so and now this is a story of the year 1892. Okay, so two characters, mother and daughter, year 1892, and it is somewhere in a remote village. So now, if
Just
people
want
who
to
have,
confirm, is this
yes,
a fictional story or a real story?
it is a real story which is submitted on the website.
Okay,
But
okay.
it is a very long story, so I'm just trying to make it a short story and narrate it. I don't want to give the complete because there is unwanted information, to be very frank, so I'm just cutting it off. I read it before coming, like before starting the live stream. I just thought I'll make it short and I'll narrate it to you guys. So mother daughter, 1982, in some remote village. So now people who have stayed in India, they know that back in the day there used to not be any washrooms or something. There used to be a common well if you want to wash your clothes, if you want to have bath or XYZ. So now, especially for ladies, they could have bath only once it's completely dark. And back in the day there was no street lights as well. So this was one evening when the mother and daughters, you can say 5 or 6 years old, when the mother and daughter, they go towards the well. Now the front area is their house and backside is the big well. Now this well is also being used by other people, other villages as well. It's like a common well, but you have to go a little bit towards the inside of the village, like towards the jungle area, to access the well and to have bath and all. So you can say this is around 10:30, 11ish. They're gone, they're having bath and all. And slowly everyone is leaving. There are a lot of ladies, they're having bath and all, chit chatting, talking, everything. And then now they have left. Now only the mother and daughter is sitting and yeah, just drying themselves up and this, that, and all. And then suddenly out of nowhere, they can hear a small kid crying. So first they assume that there might be still people around, but then they realize that the village is so small and they know everyone in the village, so it's not possible that if there is a newborn baby and we don't know. So they're still trying to figure out what is wrong. So then the daughter started crying, so the mother said, okay, leave it, let's leave from here. And the mother kind of felt little bit fishy in the sense, she felt something is wrong. So they left. Now, this happened every evening whenever they used to go for bath. Now it happened twice, thrice. Now, after that, they're having a conversation with the other ladies and they started asking everyone else, inquiring with everyone else, can you hear also a kid crying? Then one of the ladies, okay, she was, you can say, in her 60s, she told everyone that, yes, you can hear it, but you should ignore it. So then they started questioning, like, why, like, why we should, like, is the kid in danger? Where is the kid? Who has got a newborn baby or whatever? They wanted to know exactly what was happening. So then now the old lady, she basically told the backstory, and the backstory is that when the old lady, the 60-year-old lady, when she was a kid, okay, during that time, so now let's go, you can say, more 40, 50 years or 50, 60 years back. When she was a kid, basically one of the female had got pregnant in the village without getting married.
That must have been quite a scandal.
I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just going through the story, whatever is there in the story. So she delivered the kid, but no one was ready to accept. And you know how, India and how the culture is in India. So they were not ready to accept. So that lady, she threw her kid in the well, in that same well where, right now they were having bath. But obviously she's a mother. Eventually she could not take that pain and she could not take that pressure from everyone else. So even she committed suicide in that same well. So they say that you can hear the mother and the kid crying, but everyone else, when they were having bath, they could not hear the mother crying, but they could only hear the kid crying. And the scariest part is that it's only the lady who's 60 years now, she can hear the mother and the kid crying, but no one else. Because that lady who's 60 years old, it was her husband only who had kind of had a relationship with that lady. And that was the complete story where her husband fucked around with this girl and they got a kid, and he did not accept her and got married to her. And eventually that was the end of the story, where it was only the old lady who could hear the woman crying, but the rest of them could hear the kid crying. Now I don't know why, how, what for what, but this was the story. Now let's come to the third part of the story, where we can discuss and see what is true, what is not true. What is your point of view in terms of the story?
This is like story may twist.
That is for sure. See the website also, people are submitting stories. Now there is no one to verify the story, so you never know. People make up the story, or it's genuine, it's true, no idea. But this was the story which I found on that website. It's called as yourghoststories.com. You should also check it out. It's really nice, and the best part is it's country wise. So if you click on India, then all stories related to India will be there, and most of the countries are there: US, Oman, Middle East. A lot of countries are there. So yeah, that was a short story which I read on that website. I'll just have water. But your story was quite interesting.
So the question here is that in your story we don't know, what is real and what is not.
Not real, yeah. So initially, when I started my live streams, okay, I used to always try to find genuine true stories. Then later on, I realized that, see, eventually, even if I try to find true stories, we'll never know if it is 100% true, which is made up or what. So
Exactly. Because
now,
every story has certain level of exaggeration in it.
yes, yeah, that's true. So now what I do is I kind of inform, people who are watching that whatever we discuss here is just for entertainment. It can be true, it can't be true. I cannot, tell you, but just enjoy the stories. Has entertainment, and that's it. And you just need to sleep. Otherwise, if they actually start thinking, like, if someone genuinely listens to your story, they will stop buying only in second hand stuff. So
True,
you
very
have, yeah, so you have to be careful in terms of that as well. It's because people get influenced a lot in terms of through social media.
yeah,
So
definitely, definitely. Everything has to be taken with a grain of salt.
yes, yes, yes. Anyways, most of my live streams are, I do it for only 1 hour. We can end this in another 5 to 10 minutes. Now, before we end the live streams, couple of things I need to tell everyone, that if you're new to the channel and if you haven't liked the video, please do like the video, share the video with your friends and family who enjoy horror content, so that we can get more people, we can interact with more people. And if you're new and if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's main thing. And now, Swati, you tell me, will you be comfortable for now or for the next live stream, which I told you about, that creating the horror story on the spot?
Definitely. That sounds like a very creative idea, actually. So,
Would you?
whoever is our listeners,
Hmm,
one thing would be that if if they are interested, please join if they
hmm,
want to be part of it. And second thing is like, share, subscribe on whatever we're doing every week, so that we
hmm,
can also continue doing this and we'll have way more engagement. And we can also like, every time we are talking about a specific topic, like today we spoke about haunted objects, specifically jewelry art. You
hmm,
guys can also tell us what you have experienced, or if you think it's absolutely untrue, whatever it is.
hmm. Yeah, I feel more discussions, more debates will be more interesting for the live sessions as well. People, whoever can join in and share a story, yes, you're free to join in and share a story. But I like more of conversation, more of discussion. So it keeps the chat also, interesting. People will keep commenting and it will be more interesting. Divyani, you're saying you're unable to join the live stream. Just put the link now. You can click on this link and try to join in if you're coming in. What we can do is, for the next live stream, we can pick a topic and we can have a debate, and we can have like an open conversation, and then
Create
we
the
can see.
story, the one that you spoke about, the creative game thing.
Yeah, we can do that as well. And we can talk about some particular thing, which can be, which we can have a debate. Divyani, are you joining in? Can you join in? Let me know. Is the link working, not working? Let me try the link from my phone as well, because it's working on my phone. Yeah, Divyani, it's working on my phone. Please let me know if you are joining or not joining. See, now you can see two screens. See, Divyani, I have two screens right now. Oh, yeah, Divyani has joined. Okay, I'm getting Divyani in three, two, and one.
Hi.
Hi, Divyani.
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing. This Swati is also there. She is the co host of the
Hi,
live stream.
Swati.
Hi, Devyani. I've been following your comments. So, you seem like you really love your gemstones and jewelry.
Yes, yes.
Crystals.
Would you like to add something, Divyani, in terms of what
Yes,
we were
yes.
talking?
Yeah, so remembering the kids story like the cry of the kid. I
Hmm.
have sort of similar story, and
Hmm.
that's actually told to me by your mother-in-law.
Okay.
Hmm. So there was an apartment in Vasai, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was owned by a very young couple.
Vasai is in Goa, is it?
No, no,
No,
this
it's
is
Mumbai.
in
Oh,
Mumbai.
Yeah. So that flat was owned by a very young couple who had lost a baby. Okay, like I think the child was born, and then after like maybe a year's time or something, the child was no more.
Oh.
So eventually, what had happened was the parents were sad and all, and they used to remember the kid. So they left the house. I mean, they vacated the house and they decided to put it on rent because being there, they used to miss the kid. So what had happened was one of the church members from your mother-in-law's church,
Hmm.
they planned to move there. They or their relatives, something. They planned
Hmm.
to move there in that house. And what had happened? They were trying to set the house, organize and everything. And then I think they organized and they started living.
Hmm.
So out of nowhere, one kid, small kid, came, and the lady was lying on the couch. Whoever started to live in that house, she was lying on the couch, and out of nowhere, a small child came and he sat on her stomach, and he started saying, "Give me food, give me roti."
Hmm.
So yeah, so she's like, from where this kid came, and all. She started, and she liked the kid so much because the kid was very cute. That's what she said. Then she started talking to her neighbor. She made friendship with them, and she asked, "Do you guys have a baby or something?" They said no. Then she happened to share this with somebody who already knew the history geography of this flat and what had happened with the couple. So yeah, so they said that the baby's spirit haunts there in the house.
Whoa. And it was their kid, or it was.
No, no, it was the kid of no, the kid's parents. They didn't tell. This is told to her by some third person.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, but the baby was harmless. He would just come to, like, he sat on her stomach, it seems. And he was so cute and he was asking, "Give me roti."
Hmm. Baby was
was
hungry,
this a
maybe.
one-time occurrence or it constantly happened?
I don't know that. I don't remember because it's been a long time when my aunt told me this. But yeah, this is what I remember.
Hmm. Interesting. I never heard that story.
Yeah, I think you should ask her
Being in the
someday.
family, I never heard that.
I think you were
Don't
not
you think
married
it
that
could
time.
have been a different thing in the sense that don't you think it could have been a form of how grief was manifesting itself?
Hmm.
How what was manifesting?
Grief
Grief.
manifesting itself.
Grief. Yeah, could be.
Because if you think about it, if you lost a baby, that is extremely painful to go through, and the
Hmm.
Right.
the couple would be going through a lot of emotions at that time. And
Right,
then
right.
the person who saw this baby was the mom, right?
Right, she was
Yeah,
a
for a
mother
mom,
too.
it's again way more painful to go through this process. And then she sees this supernatural child and says, "Oh,
Right,
so cute, this, that." Couldn't it be like, the way grief manifests itself or a hallucination because of grief?
could be. But
Ah,
however, like it could be both ways too, maybe. But then, what makes it evident is because the house had this uh, whatever tragedy. So
hmm.
people could easily relate that the child's spirit haunted.
Hmm.
But then, like if you see it the other way around, like if you see it biblically or any religion, the child before the child becomes mature,
Hmm.
they are harmless and they are considered to be pure, so they
Hmm.
directly go to heaven. So I don't know how the child's uh, the spirit is haunting, because as per us it's already understood that the child has gone to heaven because the child is pure.
Hmm. There are a lot of things which are still unanswered, and that
Right.
is quite creepy.
Which is
And
why I said, because like you said,
mm,
biblically it should make sense. Like the child
mm.
cannot stay back on this realm, so it makes sense, right? The grief explanation.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it makes sense. That also a nice way of thinking. Should
Because if
always
you've
think in
seen
different way.
some of these stories which I've read about, when people
Mm,
have lost their parents or siblings or whatever, but
mm.
it suddenly happened, like someone's father or mother died suddenly, somebody's sister had an accident, that kind of thing, and they've lost some member. Many times I have seen cases online where they're like, I saw my sister's spirit, I saw my father's spirit, but actually it could be because you went through that pain, you're unable to let that person go, so it's manifesting in this way, and you truly believe that, okay, this is their spirit and they're roaming around the house and I can see them.
But maybe like we loved them so much, so you never know. We would hallucinate because of depression or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, it's a way of how our mind is processing that pain.
Right. Right.
I will give you all an example. Okay, now this I'm not sure this is a paranormal experience or it's just my mind which was playing. So now
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend. His name is Roger. Okay, he is also in the Middle East. He's a very good friend, and when we were bachelors, we used to always meet during the weekends, and we used to talk about life and XYZ. And I got to know that his dad passed away very long time back, and then he used to always talk about his dad. Like my dad was this when I was in Pune. He was to do this XYZ that and all. Now, while we were having a conversation, he even showed me the photographs. How his dad used to look and XYZ. So now this conversation went on like for you can say 1 2 years. Whenever we used to meet, we used to always talk about his dad in general. Now cut to he's getting engaged and we are in Pune. So now he's also from Pune. The engagement party is over. Now there was an after party which he told come home. Now it was the first time we all were going to his place. So now everyone is there in the hall, in the balcony, and they have a big balcony. A lot of people were there, and he has a lot of friends. So I didn't know everyone who was there in the party, but I was just chilling with 2 3 other friends who I knew. So now a couple of my friends they wanted to smoke, so we went out to the balcony and they were having a cigarette and we were just standing and having a conversation. And the balcony also a lot of people were there. And then towards the corner of the balcony, I seen a man standing which exactly looked like Roger's father. But the thing was, the guy, like the photograph I seen, same, the specs and the same kind of shirt or whatever. That man was just standing there. He was not having a conversation. He was just standing there and looking at everyone. And it was just like, okay, chal, I seen that person, then I seen 2 3 other people and all, and then I was having a conversation. Then after a while, not during that party, but after a while, in a sense, when I came back to Oman and I was sitting and I was just thinking, and then I remembered that, I had seen someone who just looked like your dad. Show me the photographs of of your engagement and after parties and all. So I went through all the photographs and I could not find that man because I said I seen a man who looked exactly like your dad. Maybe he's your dad's brother or XYZ. He also tried to find out, he could not find out. And I don't know now, to date, we don't know if that was his dad who came or it was someone who actually looked like his dad, or I don't know. So that's a big question mark to date. Like, what
My
exactly
God.
was that? To be very honest, and it's not that I got scared or something. It's just like, I just seen like a second person's, a random person standing there. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? What can this be?
This is scary as for me. He also attended the party.
Maybe. Sun
But
is getting
what
in
did
you.
you see in terms of like him? Did you see him interacting or just in the corner?
No,
Or
they're standing in the corner, and it was just like, how do I say, like, it's like it was a big house, and a lot of people was there, so that there are people, but you're not having a conversation with them because you don't know them. We were just having a conversation with the people who I know, like, I mean, the Oman friends were there, so we were just interacting with them. So I've seen that person, वो था party में, but I did not see, I don't remember if he was interacting with someone or something, but I just seen him like in the corner of the balcony. I did not see him inside the house also, and people were going in and out in the balcony because a lot of people used to smoke, so they should just go in and out. So that was just a very blur memory of me seeing that person. So I still don't know. He said that maybe it might be some uncle or something, because even he does not know, because his wife ka also some relatives were there. So there are a lot of people. So he said, like, don't know. But then I seen the same kind of shirt and same kind of specs he wore.
I
So
have a similar sort of experience. Of course, it's not mine, but it's my father's.
hmm,
So, like how you just mentioned that regarding Roger's dad, I remember Roger talking about his dad on his wedding day also.
hmm,
Um, yeah, so similarly, in my dad's case, I was small, I was in school until when I became a teenager and I understood what was that. I still remember though. One fine day, my father he came home. Like he used to come every afternoon, like be at home for 2 hours and then again get back to work. So in those 2 hours, like he would sit and chat with his mother and all of that. So my grandmother. So then he comes one fine day and he tells his mother, "Mama, um, I have a friend who is a member of the Freemasons, and he has been insisting me to come over to the Masons Hall. We'll make you talk to your dad."
my God.
And the dad has passed away 30 years back.
Bare. Okay.
So yeah, and then I was there. I remember I was in school. So my grandmother said, "No, no, don't do that. That's not good, and we don't do it as whatever. If we are religious people, we do not fall for all of that." So till date, I think how can that be possible? I have only seen this in movies when they make they do all this and they make a laugh out of it. But then what do you guys think? Is that true? Would he really do that for my dad if at all my dad had to say yes? And we
No,
as
don't.
kids until date call that Mason's Lodge as Bhoot Bangla.
Hmm. I don't think so. It will be a trick for sure. And what, as far as my information and what I have understood, that it will be the demon who would be speaking to you in the dad's voice or in the mother's voice or in anyone's voice.
Mhm.
So I don't think
My God.
so. Yeah, because see, this is the biggest trick. Whenever you're sad or whenever you have lost someone, and
Mhm.
that person tries, like, for example, if you have lost your uncle, and your somehow the uncle is trying to connect with you, it's not your uncle, it's your demon, it's the demon, sorry. And they say that whenever you're in your lowest, that is the time when demon approaches you, because it's a very easy target that time. This is as per
Right.
my understanding.
Right. But you know what? I think, like I know you also believe that, and I'm sure Swati also might be believing the same.
Hmm.
That there are many people, not all, but like a few, who would understand or who would see demons, because many don't and many do. So out of those were my like was my grandmother, because right before, like a few minutes before my grandfather could pass away with a heart attack,
Hmm.
she saw a very weird scenario out of her door, the main
Hmm.
door of the house. Okay, she saw three people, you
Hmm.
know, one very long, then one medium height, and were very small, and they were joined.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
she saw they passed away from the door of hers, and they looked at her, and then they passed away. And right in few seconds, my grandfather passed away with a heart attack. And the same
Shit.
thing she told me when she was a teenager behind her house. Okay, now they were
Hmm.
like four sisters, two, three brothers. Okay,
Hmm.
and only she could see behind her house. That time they used to have those big, big places where they would wash clothes and all behind the house, and also and tankies and whatnot. So she could see always three girls standing every night out of the house behind. Every time she should, and they would only look at her and just give a slight smile. And they would always be standing together, like three attached together. So she told me this as well. So she was somebody who could really see demons, and she has even chased demons.
Whoa.
Who is
So
this
she,
extraordinary person?
granny.
Yes, yes, and she would never fear because she always had the Bible with her, and she always would, tell a prayer rapidly. Otherwise, if it was me or somebody, I would even forget. I would
Collapse.
like freeze.
But how did she chase demons?
She says that she saw somebody in her room. I don't know if that could be hallucination, but she was so proper about it till she could die. She always used to share this story that she saw somebody who she would see in the room, and then she said like whatever with a prayer and phrase in the name of the Lord and whatever. She asked the demon to go away. She chased the demon, so that demon didn't come back again. And
I
also
think there
she
are.
says she has seen angels when she was she used to fall sick. She would see a person. She was quite sick, I remember, and she was admitted. And she had fever, I believe, that night when she was not really well, and we had admitted her. So she saw from the entrance of the room in the hospital, very bright light coming. And she just made herself very conscious, and she started looking there at the bright light. Suddenly some one face came, a very shining face. It smiled at her and left, and her fever
Oh
had gone.
my God.
So yeah, my
It's just
grandmother
super
could
moment.
see all that. Yeah.
No, actually, it could be true in terms of abilities because there are people who have these abilities that they're gifted with, where they're able
Right.
to identify creatures that are not human. So I'm not
Hmm.
surprised at all. There was this girl that I met at a wedding. I was attending
Hmm.
some wedding in India in,
Mm-hmm.
many years ago, and I met her randomly. Like she was a guest at the wedding, and my cousin introduced me to her. She was like, "Hey, you meet this girl.
Hmm.
She's very cool and all of that." And I was like, okay, randomly she's introducing me to this girl and saying she's very cool. And then I started talking to her because you know how it is in weddings, there's nothing to do. You're just sitting there and waiting for
Hmm.
the food. And then I was like, okay, fine, let me just talk to her since my cousin is like, she's very cool. Then I found out that she's actually a clairvoyant. Clairvoyant are people who can predict things, who can see things which are
Whoa.
beyond the scope of human ability. And she was a clairvoyant, and she told me that
Wow.
that basically she found out about her abilities when she was very young. She was only like maybe 6 or 7, and she started seeing entities and humans that are looking different than regular people and all of that. But she never understood that this was a ability. She just thought that this is her imagination, because as a child you have a wild imagination. And she would
Hmm.
tell her parents that, hey, I can see this, I can see that, this, that, and they would be like, okay, you're just making this up.
Hmm.
And then when she was around, maybe when she just became a teenager, uh, she she said she moved into a new house, and that house basically had a bad energy to it. And this, and I don't know whether you could consider it a demon, but just an some kind of energy with a negative, sorry, some entity with a negative energy. So I'm assuming it's a demon, and that thing was under her bed.
Oh.
And she was very scared of sleeping alone because every night that entity would scratch her.
My God.
because it was under the bed and its hiding place was that, and every night it would scratch her, and then she would tell her parents that something is wrong here and there's something under my bed, look at the scratches and this and that, but nobody would believe her because she was a child at the end of the day, and they were like, you've been telling these stories since you're a child, something is up with you. So
Hmm.
after that, she thought, okay, you know what, it's best to just deal with things yourself. So she started dealing with these entities herself. Like there were some which never disturbed her, just things that she could see, but they were just passing. It was nothing to do with, they're trying to disturb you. But there were many energies that she encountered that were negative, and she used to deal with it herself. Like, push it in the sense like use certain words to make it go away, block it out from
Shit.
coming near her. Like she had her own ways of dealing with it. So she has a normal life. That's how my cousin knows her. She used to work in my cousin's company. They work in IT together, but this
Hmm.
was kind of a gift that she had ever since she was a child. And she said that this gift could also be dangerous because when energies or entities know that you can sense them, you can push them away, you can do things, they target you. They're like, okay, now we'll trouble you.
Yeah, correct. Because
Right.
Because once she was saying that they worked late, they had some project, and these people used to work in, what is that company? Oracle, yeah.
hmm.
They used to work in Oracle in Bangalore. So once they had a project which went on for very long, and she was leaving the office at like 10 o'clock, and she was the only one left to leave. Like everyone had left by 9ish, and she was
Hmm.
stuck like finishing it. So she left at 10, and there was nobody in the building. Like everyone had left by then, and she was the only one. Of course, the security and all were there, but otherwise no employees.
Hmm.
And then she went into the lift, and then when she went into the lift she started feeling very uneasy, like something was going to happen to her. And then she got to the basement where her car was. And then as she walked to her car, she felt that there's something behind her that is approaching her, and she could feel an overwhelming sense of bad energy, that it was not a good thing, it is a bad thing. So she realized that this is an entity that is out to get her because of her abilities. So then she ran into her car and she locked herself in the car for 5 minutes and kept praying and praying just to make sure that the entity is gone. And then she went back home.
My God. A gift which is a curse at the same time.
Yeah, because these negative energies know that you can see them, feel them, so they want to hurt you.
Yeah, and once they realize that that the person can see us, I think so. They'll not stop only, troubling her.
Yeah, which is similar to what Divyani's grandmother also has. I think she had that gift.
Yeah, carrying forward that conversation. So Devyani's grandmother, she had how many daughters? Devyani, four
Three
daughters.
daughters, one son.
Three daughters, one son. So one daughter is staying in Hyderabad, and that daughter is a principal. So the school gave her a flat. So the mother used to go to one daughter's house, XYZ, that and all. So apparently the grandmother, she goes to this daughter's house who's in Hyderabad,
That house
and
was in Latur before she could come to Hyderabad.
it is not in Hyderabad. The one where she could hear
That
that
you're talking
man.
about, no? That's Latur. Yeah.
Okay, Latur. And she told her daughter that there is a man who's there in the house and he's looking at me and laughing at me. Something like that, right?
Yes, yes.
That when I heard that story is quite creepy. Just imagine, okay, you are staying in that house alone, and then suddenly your mom comes and she tells that in your house there is someone, and that person is laughing at me. I would never able to sleep also in that house. The same night I would have packed everything and I would have gone from
Exactly. I
there.
was about to say, I would have done exactly that. I would have been like, Bhago.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, but then in that house, now when we met in Hyderabad last year,
hmm,
Auntie was telling that that house was not a very good house because the principal before her,
hmm,
he was a young boy.
hmm.
He also died in that house.
Oh, okay.
So that was
So,
not a very good house. It had quite much of history and horror together.
hmm, quite creepy. But I feel, these people who have this gift, initially they will be scared and this that, and I think so towards the end of their life they might be like, chalo teko jo karna hai karo, like it might be so common for them to see people this that and all. I feel they might be
Yeah.
just fed up of them, like it might be just like a normal thing which they're seeing every day.
Yeah, and if you remember, I told you once in one of your live streams that they believe to keep, some metal below your pillow, just to cancel negative energies. So my grandmother
Hmm.
did that. She would keep a piece of, what corkscrew,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
down her pillow. I still
Hmm.
have it, the
You
same
keep
one.
it
Keep.
because she might come now to haunt you. You never know.
One question connected to this house in Hyderabad. How did you guys find out that the previous principal died there and all? I mean, was it there? Were there many
When
incidents?
my aunt was leaving from that school, she got to know that.
Aunt also was a principal. She is a principal, but she
Mhm.
was also a principal, so she got to know.
So but that was the only history in that house, is it? That the previous person died there.
Yeah, and there was one thing more, but I don't remember that because, but yeah, there was a lot of history before also. People were not able to sustain in that house.
Yeah, before that also, I think so. 2 or 3 people died in that house.
Something like that, yeah. But I
Yeah.
do remember the young principals thing,
Wait, then
especially.
how did your aunt manage in that house? Did she ever experience
She
anything?
had a prayer just after her mother told her about all this. She had a prayer over there. So I think she could sustain for some time, and then in no time she moved to Hyderabad.
So I think so in 1 year or 2 years, I think so that she left, right?
Yeah, I think even earlier than that.
She's there for a very short time, I think. So yeah.
So she
Mm-hmm.
didn't have any experiences in that house.
No, no, she didn't have as such. But of course, she was scared, and she would always make sure that she's having
She
her Bible with her.
kind of had. See, now we had this conversation quite some time back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Sachit is there online, if he's listening, and if he can clarify this. But I don't know if it is in the Hyderabad house or if it is in that Latur, wherever that place is. So she had a maid, okay, and so the auntie, she was, I think so, in the bedroom or in the hall, and she was talking to someone. She was doing something, okay, and the maid was in the kitchen, and the maid just came to her and she said, take a glass of water or take a cup of tea or something. So then the auntie said that I did not ask for it. So she's saying, no, you just now came to the kitchen and you asked for it. So the thing is, apparently there was like a chalawa or whatever, which came into a form of my auntie, and she went to the maid and she said that I need this. But to date, like even the auntie can agree on that she was not the one. She was in the hall or in the bedroom doing her work, and out of nowhere the maid comes and she says, take a glass of water, where the auntie never went to the maid and never asked her a glass of water. So there were like very small incidents which can be connected now, but that time they must have not thought that. Maybe auntie must have thought that the maid might be tensed or something, or she assumed that I called her or something like that. So I need to find out the exact story.
Mm-hmm. Like this chalapa, what you told, there's something called as chakwa also.
Chakwa is also kind of same thing, I believe, right?
No, chakwa, not exactly same, but comes in the same category. Like for example, I'll give you. Um, there's a place on one road. There's a shop on one road. Okay,
Hmm.
and that chakwa is such key. We forget to stop if we want to stop at that shop or that particular point over there on that road. We always forget and we move ahead. That is chakwa, and then
Oh,
we
so the
realize, अरे हम तो आगे आगे.
okay, the road will, or you'll just get lost. You'll not reach
Yes, yes.
to
You just
your.
go ahead of it.
You'll
Yeah,
not
and
go
then when
to.
you come ahead, then you realize, "Arey, we came too ahead. It went back already." That is chakwa.
You know what is the interesting part? If we have conversations like this, then a lot of stories come in my mind. Otherwise,
Right.
if I'm just alone, That is why I always need a co-host. Thank you, Swati and Divyani, because these conversations are more interesting. Because what Divyani said, I don't know, Divyani, if you know Neil, the guy who just got married in December.
Yeah.
So, Swati, so I also stayed in Mumbai for quite some time.
Can
So,
I just ask one question?
yes, yes, yes.
What is the English translation of chakua? I didn't get that part.
Chakwa means. Uh,
I think some entity which tricks you, and that entity is stuck to that place, like it is location, as per a location.
it will trick you in the sense, maybe it will,
वो भुला
like,
देता है तुम्हें उतने टाइम के लिए.
I'll give you the story what I'm telling you. Maybe you might understand after that.
Yeah, yeah.
So now there is a guy. His name is Neil. He is parting at one place. So now from A to B, okay, by bike, it's only 15 minutes. So Divyani, from Vasai to Naigaon, it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes by bike. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now he had to go to work. And this was like early morning shift at 4 o'clock. So he finished his party by 1:32, and then he had to go to work. And there used to be cabs and all, which they used to pick and drop. So around 1:30 he left, and he was riding the bike. Yes, he was little bit tipsy, he was drunk, but it was manageable. He could ride the bike. So at 1:30 he left, and then he reached. The minute he parked his bike, he got a call. Then when he seen his phone that there's 15, 16 missed calls. And then his friend is anyways calling. So he answers the phone and he says like, "What's up? All okay, this, that." And also the friend is asking, "Neil, where were you? We were trying to call you for so long. Where were you? Did you reach home? This, that, and all." So he said, "Yeah, just now though I left. I reached home. Okay, abhi 10 minutes." So that friend is telling Neil, "Bro, check the time. It's 3:30. You left at 1:30. Where were you so long?"
Yes, this is Chakwa. You're right.
So Neil is wondering, "Bro, I just sat on the bike. I'm riding. I did not even stop to fill fuel or something. Anyways, it's in the middle of the night. Nothing will be open. I just came straight home. I did not stop anywhere." So he actually checked the time and it was 3:30 and he was confused. Like, where did I go? Okay, he is high, but not to an extreme level where he'll not remember anything. Otherwise, he'll not able to ride his bike as well. So to date, he's still confused that where did he go. So for a lot of people, they say, "No, man, it might be not paranormal. It might be just that you must have stopped somewhere. You met a friend or something, or you may be high. You don't realize, or you must have left at 3 o'clock and you assume that it is 1:30. Nothing." But the guy who he was with, he also knows that he left at 1:30. And this is like his best friend. So he said, "Bro, when you reach home, please give me a call so I know you're safe." So it's still a question mark. And basically chakwa means like, it's basically, it always happens when you are on a road journey, and
Yes, correct.
you'll get lost. You'll feel that it's here only, it's just 10 minutes distance,
Yes,
but you're
yes.
going, and you'll not realize that you know it's the road, or it's a kind of ghost which will play tricks with you. So that's how it
Ah,
is.
Correct.
okay, okay. So
We
it's
have this road in Nagpur.
so basically it's a trickster ghost, but it's specifically on a road.
Kind of, yes, kind of.
Yes. It's like you know, um, limited to a location. कि हम वहीं
Yeah,
वहीं घूमते रहते हैं.
like there was, yeah, there was another story from Goa. So now Goa, if you know, people who have visited Goa, like there is like a villa, then again there is greenery, then there is one cross, and again greenery. So a lot of open land is there. So there is one place near my house, it's like a roundabout. Okay, so now this uncle, he had that Fiat car, the old car where you can change the gear from your hand, only the right hand side, left hand side. And he's born and brought up there. He knows that, if you close his eyes also, if you take right, you're going to reach home. If you take left, you're going to reach the shop. If you go straight, you're going to reach the fish market or whatever. So one evening, they had some celebration or something, and his job was to drop few of the family members from point A to point B. And they had only one car, and a lot of cousins, a lot of things. It was during Christmas time or something. So he's dropping everyone, this, that, and all. And now the last ride of his was only two of them, maybe some auntie, uncle, whatever. So now he's reaching to the roundabout and he's taking right. Okay. And he's wondering like what is happening when you take right, after 5 minutes you reach the house. But he's going straight, 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 straight. Again he's coming on that roundabout. Then he's confused. Like, he was confused. So again he took a right. Again he reached towards the roundabout. And again he's confused. Now he decided to take left. He took left. Again he's reached to the roundabout. Then he started, he got panicked and then he didn't know what to do. Then he went straight. Again he went straight. Again he reached to the roundabout. So then he stopped. And luckily the aunties and all, they had some rosary, and they stopped near a small chapel which is before the roundabout. They said a small prayer or something, and then when they reached the roundabout and then they took right, they reached home. So it's not that the uncle who was alone in the car. There was two ladies also who was there, and they were sober. They were not like completely drunk or something. Yes, uncle was drinking, but so this is also kind of a story where it's like a chakwa, where the road will, or the ghost will play tricks with you.
Yes, correct.
Except you never
Ideal
see the
example.
ghost, right?
Sorry.
Except you never see the ghost. It's just
Chak-
the journey that becomes longer.
yeah, or confusing, or you'll not reach to your destination. That's the thing. It will not allow you to reach to your destination.
Ah, okay. If you haven't seen this movie, Children of the Corn,
Nope.
it's actually a Stephen King book which became a movie. It's actually quite nice, which is similar to what you guys said, except it's a different kind of chakwa. So this chakwa in your stories is specifically on a road where it's not allowing you to get to the destination, confuses you. This chakwa is connected to a cornfield.
Ooh.
So basically, it tricks you into believing that there is someone in the cornfield that is crying out for help. And once you enter that cornfield, you can never come out
My God.
because the
God.
cornfield will become more and more convoluted, and you'll keep getting stuck and you'll keep roaming around, roaming around. You'll be like, where is this voice coming from? And then when you want to get out because you're like, okay, I'm done with this, I want to leave, you can't because you're stuck in this convoluted cornfield and you don't know the way out.
Okay. Are you reading that on the internet?
No, it's a movie. It's called
Okay, okay,
Children of the
okay.
Corn.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice movie. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix still, but it used to be on Netflix, but you can catch it on other websites.
I see.
Anyways, I have
So,
saved it. I shall watch it soon.
Devyani, you were saying you have a road in Nagpur or something, no?
yeah, which has this chakwa. Yeah, and it's quite a busy road.
But how do
You
you
can.
know that Chakwa thing happened
No,
there?
actually, I and the same aunt of mine who lives in Hyderabad and my brother, we three were talking about this because we saw an episode of Chakwa. It is Fear Files only, and then we were just discussing about it, and then it was so spontaneous where my brother and my aunt the same said, "Arey, wo 10 number pool hai na, wahan Chakwa hai." Then I'm like, oh my god, yes, because even when I used to ride from there, I would, wait for that. Arey, ab aayega. And then when I come to that point of realization, I'm like, Arey, मैं already इतनी आगे आ गई हूँ. So it's like that.
It's never happened with me, but yeah, I've heard stories about this kind of stuff.
Actually,
Yeah,
I've
and
heard stories of this Chakwa thing, but I never knew it was that. The first time I'm hearing, oh, there's actually a ghost for this. I know about these stories. Now I'm like, okay, now I can associate a ghost with this.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting to write like a proper full-fledged story as well. But I don't know if it's like a ghost or what. Let me also try to read more about it and try to find out exactly if it's like a ghost or it's the road which will, don't know, quite creepy and confusing. Anyways, it's 1 hour 57 minutes 5 seconds 6 seconds. So I think so uh we should get done for tonight's live stream, because normally I keep it 1 hour. It's already 2 hours. Let's not extend it. Let's keep something for the next episode as well. Otherwise, if we talk everything tonight, then there won't be anything left for the next episode. So yes, thank you everyone for joining in. If you still haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. And for next live stream, also we will try to discuss about something. So let us know in the chats. Let us know in the comments what can we discuss, what can we debate about, so that everyone can interact in our live stream, in our conversations. And for the next live stream, we also have something where we will be creating live stories, suggestions given by you. So yeah, that's it for tonight's live stream. So thank you, Divyani, thank you, Swati, for joining in. And yes, that's it. Thank you everyone. Any last
Thank you.
words from Divyani and Swati?
You can follow my podcast on Spotify. It's called Desi Horror. So whoever's
Yes.
interested, you can check it
Okay.
out there.
Yes, why
Sure,
don't
sure. I'm
you
gonna do that.
drop your link?
I'm
uh,
unable to chat over here actually. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
not now. Once the live stream gets over, you can drop the link in the comment. So I'll pin that comment as well. So people, you can go check that. It's on Spotify, right?
Yep, it's called Desi Horror. So you can listen to it and find out more about creepy places that you can actually visit.
Yes.
Okay.
Do check her podcast out as well. And thank you for joining in. I shall see you all in my next live stream.
Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye,
Good
Swati
night.
and Desmond.
Thank you, both of you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Mm. Do. Okay, and end the live stream in 3, 2, and 1.